Hello, engineer. How are you doing?
I'm fine, sir. Thank you. Thank you for selecting me for this interview, sir.
You
And
are
how are you, sir?
most welcome. You are most welcome. How you pronounce your name?
It's pronounced as Madusha Tissera.
Okay, okay. And you are from Sri Lanka, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. You are currently in Sri Lanka or working in another country?
No, sir. I have only worked in Sri Lanka.
Okay. By the way, I have met very good engineers from Sri Lanka, planning engineers. They were doing great.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So you know that this session is recorded and you have no problem with this one, right?
Yes, of course.
Yes,
I know,
great.
sir. No, it's no problem with me, sir.
Very good, very good. So tell me about yourself. What is your background? You are a civil engineer, architect, or what? What is your background?
Yes, of course. I was graduated as a civil engineer in 2016.
Okay, very good. And you have, as I see from the description you sent to me, you have around 5 years of experience?
It's almost 6 years plus experience, sir, but I switched to planning career recently. It's like 6 months.
Okay. And why you would like to shift your career to the planning?
I mean, I have worked as a site engineer and also a project engineer in my previous projects. And I thought switching into planning gives me much control over the project. And also I can use my experience as well to drive the project to success with my previous experience.
Okay, very good, very good. And you worked as a planning engineer for 5 months?
It's almost 6 months hours.
Okay, 6 months. What did you do in these 6 months?
By the time I joined the project, they have completed the kickoff meeting. And then I started developing the baseline and the W-based dictionary as well. Then I prepared the activity BOQ and cost loading, and also discussing with the project team regarding plan and what way we need to head. Then I started preparing the material procurement logs and drawings. Then we finalized the project baseline. And
you did all of this and you have only 6 months experience. This is very, very good. You only have how you learn the planning. I mean, how you entered. You was working as a site engineer, and you suddenly
actually during my previous projects, when I was working as a site engineer as well as a project engineer, I was always communicating with our planning team, and I tried to learn from them all the time.
Very good, very good.
It helped me a lot, actually.
Yeah, this is my most advice I give to the engineers who would like to join the planning field, that while you are doing your job as a site engineer, project engineer, or QA/QC, try to communicate with the planning team, be involved, ask them how to do this, how to do that, try to do some small tasks in the planning. So you will learn a lot of the planning. So when the chance came to be a planning engineer, you will have some good background. By the way, how the shift happens? I mean, how the shift happens between site and the planning? What happens to give you this opportunity?
Actually, my previous project was over, and I was applying for a new position, and I came across this planning opportunity, and I applied for that, and I was selected to work as a planning engineer in that project.
Okay, very good, very good. So in your opinion, what is the most skill a planning engineer should have?
Actually, as far as I understand, sir, a planning engineer should be very good in almost all the things in the project. I mean, the procurement, record preparation, QA/QC part for a bit, for some extent, and also communication skills and communication management actually, and then coordination with clients, and also especially with subcontractors. A planning engineer should be excelled in almost all the things, as far as I understand.
Also the project engineer will have the same. The site engineer should have the same, but there is one skill. It should be with the planning engineer, it should be exist in a planning engineer, that not necessarily to be in the same level for other trades. In your opinion, what's this skill? What's this specific skill? Let me give you my thoughts about it, okay? In my opinion, the most required skill for a planning engineer is to be a very well organized, because you are dealing with too much documentation. If you are not organized enough and can extract data from different sources, then you will face problems while you're producing your reports. Because you will do behind the scenes too many calculations, too many things in order to get a report. So if you are not organized to collect the data and then organized to give the data in a proper way to the relevant departments, then it will cause a problem, because no one knows what you are doing behind the scenes. You got my point?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so how organized you are, how well you are in organizing things, collecting data from site and estimating what should be the report, who needs to know what, like this.
Actually, I have prepared several Excel sheets, and I manage them so that the relevant data is transferred to the relevant teams, and also what requires to be done in time, it happens.
Okay, let me go from the beginning. First of all, you start with the project bill of quantity, okay? And the project drawings. How you study the project from its bill of quantity and the drawings? What do you do?
Actually, I went through the drawings and the BOQ roughly for like quickly. I go through the BOQ and the drawings and get some understanding what I need to do and what are the extents of the project. And then, sir, I prepare the BOQ as according to my requirements, so that I can prepare the WBS.
Okay.
From the BOQ.
Okay, very good. And when you are creating the WBS, do you consult your project team, or you just do it from your mind?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. I have consulted my project manager as well as my project team.
Very good.
Especially the site engineer. Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Going to the second point for the cost and resource loading, how do you do it? What the steps you are doing it? Do you have a separate sheet for cost loading and resource loading, or you are just creating the Primavera activities and load costs and resources directly to Primavera?
No, actually, sir, I have prepared several Excel sheets for costs and the resources, and I use the import function to bring it into the Primavera. Okay,
very good. So you have a separate sheet for cost loading and resource loading, where we can see how the calculation were made. We can consult any activities to see the details of it and so on, right?
Yes, of course. Sir.
Okay, very good. And when it comes to the relationships between the activities, how you do the relationships? I mean, what was your project anyway?
For relationships, I have worked it manually, sir.
You have what?
I have worked it manually. It was a tedious task, actually.
No problem. You can do it manually in Primavera. No worries about this one. But I mean, how you define that this activity is linked to this activity and this one is linked to this one? I mean, how you got this knowledge?
From my experience, sir?
Yeah,
my past
this
experience.
is very good, because you work as a site engineer, so you know what is the sequence of the activities. So you are good in this area, so you can do it, right?
Yes, of course. Yes.
What if there is one relationship or set of relationships, some activities you don't know, you never met in your life? What you will do with these activities?
I first search in the Google, and if I still can't understand what is the correct relationships there should be, then I consult my project manager and site engineer and other relevant managers, especially when it comes to MEP items and electrical items as well.
Very good, very good. This is very correct answer. Yeah, you should first do your homework, trying to find the proper relationship. But in case of specialized activities, what I mean by specialized activity, like you have a huge steel structure work, you have some specialized work, it is better not to Google it in that case. It is better to go to the specialized company who are going to execute this work and start getting their schedule of work and implement their schedule in your schedule. What was the project you did? What is the project type? Is it residential building? It is roads?
It's a water supply project, sir.
What?
It's a water supply project, sir.
Water supply?
Yes.
So it is more infrastructure than building, right? Or it is a station, or it is pipelines?
Both. It includes both, sir.
Okay, very good, very good. And since you are working on a horizontal project, how you sequence the activities? There you have how many kilometers of pipes you have?
Nearly 100 kilometers we have, sir.
100 kilometers. So you can work in this 100 kilometer anytime. Yani you can start here, there, here. How you manage it?
Of course, sir, I have separated the area into 26 sub areas.
Okay.
So that we can complete work and commission each part individually.
Okay. And from where you get this area, how you divide the areas?
According to the feeding system, so water feeding system.
Okay.
That experience I got from my previous project. When I worked as a project engineer, I did that.
Come on, you are cheating now. Not since you are a project engineer and you know how to do it. You shouldn't know this. But this is good. This is good. You know what you was doing on site, so you put it in the planning in a proper way. This is perfectly good. Okay. When it comes to the technical now skills, how good you are in Excel?
I'm sort of okay. I mean, Excel is a vast subject. I can't say that I'm good at it, but I can manage to some extent.
Okay, so for example, you know what is VLOOKUP formula?
Of course.
Very good, very good. And you know the pivot tables?
Yeah, pivot tables I can manage.
Very nice. Okay, do you use pivot tables in your reports? Have you ever used it?
Yeah, for some time I used pivot tables.
Very nice. And what about the queries, Power Queries?
No, I have not used.
Okay, okay. Power Queries, in simple words, it is like, you know the Excel macros?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, something like Excel macros, but it is much more easier. So it will do some certain steps, some certain calculations, adding column, removing column, and then it will end up with another table. So you can convert or join two tables, or maybe you can filter some table and do some calculations and put it in another table. It is very useful, and it will shortcut whatever you need to do. And what usually take too much time to be done, using Power Queries, it will shorten the time, and you will be sure it is accurate and no problem with it. Okay, in the schedule you have made, what is the total float you have? What is the maximum total float you have?
Total float is like 5 weeks.
5 weeks. And what is the total duration of your project?
24 months.
24 months?
Yes.
Okay, so what is the percentage of the total float? You said how many weeks again, sorry?
5 weeks, sir.
5 divided by, okay. So it's so fine. It's okay. And do you have any open ends? Do you know what is the meaning of open ends?
Unrestricted activities.
Do you know that the term open ends in the Primavera?
I mean, unrestricted activities. Yeah, I have not.
Open ends, it means one activity without predecessor or without successor. Okay, so you need to check whether you have open ends.
I have checked that.
Okay, okay. The critical path. How many activities in your critical path, for example?
It's almost 1,200 activities.
Oops. How many activities in total you have?
1,600 activities.
So out of 1,600, how many activities critical?
1,200.
Oh, this is
nearly
too
1,200.
much. This is not too much. This is too much. You know why? You should not have this percentage of the critical path, because if anything goes wrong, you will start recording delays. And your project, most of it is a horizontal project. So I assume you linked everything finish to start, finish to start, finish to start. So that's why you have this high.
There are parallel run activities, sir, but according to the teams we have, I have prepared the schedule.
Okay, so your percentage or your activity percentage is very high. You cannot accept this in real situation project, because this will affect, you know, this will affect what? This will affect your data reporting. When you say you are delayed or not delayed, you affect your future extension of time and claims. Okay, so normally the percentage of critical activities should not be this much. It should be less than half of the project activities. So you have some flexibility. If you delay 2-3 days here, 1 week there, 10 days here, it will not cause a big problem. You got my point?
Yes, I got your point, sir. But the problem is nowadays in Sri Lanka, we have sort of economic crisis. And with that, the resources are very much there are no much resources. That's why we had to go for that solution.
Yeah, no problem about resources. I agree with you that you should consider all the current situation, considering whether you have impact for the pandemic or whatever. Yeah, you should consider. I totally agree with you. But at the end of the day, you should not have this percentage.
Yes, I totally understand what you say.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have a manager? Yeah, I mean, you have some senior planning engineer who is reviewing your work, or
no,
you are
for the planning part, it's only me, sir.
Only you.
My project manager helps me a lot, but for the subject matters, it's only me.
Okay, okay, okay. I know that you can do it. You can gain too much experience. What did you do to improve your planning skills in the past? Let's say you have now working 6 months. So in these 6 months, what did you do to improve your planning skills?
I went through several books and also several videos in YouTube. Some
very good,
actually done by you. They were very, actually, they were wonderful.
Thank you. I mean, you start learning, because don't be in the trap where you start your job and you don't have time to improve yourself. It is like, you know, a circle. You enter this circle, yes, you start working, you have too much pressure, you don't have time to improve. And what happens?
Actually, I'm still studying, sir. Actually, in our practice, I mean, in Sri Lanka, almost everyone uses Microsoft Project. But okay, I wanted to stand up from the crowd, and I started learning Primavera, and I'm using it here.
Very good, very good, very good. And whenever you, let's say you are working 10 hours per day, okay? This is advice for you and for everyone who is watching this lesson or this interview. You are working 10 hours per day. These 10 hours, let's say when you're starting your job, you are fully loaded. You cannot breathe, okay? So what will happen if you didn't improve yourself? What will happen if you didn't learn new techniques? You will keep next month spending same 10 hours.
Yes.
One year later, same 10 hours. But what will happen if you work more, 1 or 2 hours per day, learning something new, enhancing your skills? After 1 month, whatever you was doing in 10 hours, you will be able to do in 9 hours because you're learning some new techniques, you're learning some new skills. So it will help you to reduce the efforts required to do the same job. 6 months later on, you will work only 4 hours. So you will have 6 hours free. In my team, with my team, when I was managing a big team, I was telling them, if you don't have half of your time free for your own development, it means you are not having the proper skills. Half of our times was free, thinking about new ways of reporting, thinking of how to learn a new skill, visiting the site, checking what is new in the planning world. So this is my concept for my team. You should at least have half of your time for your own development, but you will not reach this stage until you know some tips and the tricks and techniques to accelerate your planning tasks. So whatever needs, for example, if you are doing the duration, sorry, not the duration, the linking between the activity, the relationships.
Yeah, it took much time actually.
Yeah,
for me.
You know, we can do it smartly in Excel. You can, if you did it smartly from the beginning, that you have a smart ID system, so you can define that, okay, whatever a block work, the activity ID will start with BL01, okay? So this is a block work in all floors, in all everything. Now we'll differentiate between floors, between areas, between anything with another code. Now, another thing that the cluster, okay, the cluster in all floors, in all areas should contain, okay, the code, let's say PL01. Now, using Excel, we can link all the block work to all the relevant cluster work in the same floor by one click. Have you ever think about something like this?
Oh, no,
Okay. So after this interview, send me a WhatsApp. I will give you a free access to my course, which is explaining how to do this one. So how to work smart with her. Okay, because you participated in this interview. I'm very happy with your performance. So I'm willing to give you some more tips and the tricks. Then tell me later on whether you learned something new or not, okay?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, when it comes to the reporting, how good your reports are?
Actually, I had much help from my project manager on preparing the first report. What I'm doing now is updating it and preparing the relevant updates.
Okay, so I mean, do you have one report for everyone, or you have different reports for different department, different persons?
Yeah, different reports. We have different reports.
Okay.
Do you know that we have one report, and for internal activities we have several reports.
Okay, very good.
Construction team and procurement team as well.
You know that 80% from our work as a planning engineers will be appreciated from our reports. It doesn't matter how many hours you spend calculating resources, calculating costs, doing relationship. At the end of the day, they will see the report. If the report is okay, then your work is okay. If the report has some error, if your report have a problem, then no one will say, oh, but he was very tired doing this one, but he spent time doing. No one will remember this one. They will just like to see an accurate report to the point, then they will appreciate your work. You agree with me? Okay, okay. So now, what you would say to your colleagues who would like to shift their career to the planning field? What is the advice you would give to them?
I mean, but my advice is to learn everything. I mean, if you are working in a site for some function, excel at it, but also learn other functions as well. I mean,
okay.
We need to get the whole picture before we come into planning, as far as I understand.
Very good advice. You need to understand the full picture before you start working as a planning. This is very nice advice, actually. I am happy with your performance. If this is a real interview, I would like to take you to the next level where I'm going to see samples of your work. And as a junior planning engineer, for me, when I'm doing an interview for a junior planning engineer, I only focus about the potentials because you are a junior. I'm not expecting from you a lot, but what I am very keen to know, what is your future, not what is your current position. Are you willing to learn? Are you willing to improve yourself? What is your mentality? Yeah, what is your mentality? How you are going to deal with the project team? Are you going to cause troubles for me? Because some of juniors, they are causing a lot of troubles for nothing. Yani, they are fighting with the project teams. They are saying, no, I will not do this. I will not do that. For what? You should work as a smart person. And I see you are a smart person. So it is very nice for me. I would definitely take you for the next level of the interview where I can see your physical work and so on. Before ending this interview, do you would like to ask me about anything?
Actually, there are a lot of information you have shared. I mean, how I can work smarter using several tools.
Yes, this is my advice
that
to you.
Was sort of an enlightening point. I mean, for actually, especially for activity linking, I used tedious amount of time. It was really a tedious task. Yeah.
You started in a proper way, in a perfect way. You started very good. You as a side, then you have the opportunity to work as a planning. This is a perfect start. Now, my advice to you is to continue. Now, you have level, let's say level 1 in the planning. You know the basics, you know how they link to the activity, you know what is the sequence of work. There are too many levels. There are level 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are too many levels. Don't stop. And we don't know what we don't know. You know this? If you know, we have several things. I hope it will not confuse you. We know what we know, right? We know what we know. We know what we don't know. But this too is okay. You know what you know. You know what you don't know. This is okay. But the most dangerous thing in our field that you don't know what you don't know. You don't know that there is some technology exists. You don't know that there are some techniques exist. This is what could improve your performance and improve your skills in the planning field. So I was telling that you started as a great start. Please continue trying to improve your skills and focus on the area where we don't know what we don't know. I don't know if you heard this part. You can hear it in the recorded session, but it is important to search what is new in our field. It is because if you don't know that there is something new, we'll never dig in it and trying to learn it. But if we know that there is something we are missing, then we can schedule it, we can put it in our to-do list and so on. So I'm happy with your performance for this interview, and I'll be waiting for your WhatsApp message to give you this course and tell me what you think about it, okay?
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this nice interview. Thank you.